Okay, welcome to another edition of Moments Off the Mat. I am USA Wrestling's Mike Willis. I am joined by BJ Futrell. BJ is 2017 national team member, and the reason he's on today is actually he's taking a new job. He's going to be the director of mentoring at Beat the Streets Philadelphia. BJ, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great, man. Excited. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for coming on. Congratulations on the new role. That's awesome news for you and for Beat the Streets Philadelphia, I'm sure. So you were a resident athlete at the PRTC for 3 years, and now you're you were an assistant coach with Navy for a year, and now you're taking on this role at Beat the Streets Philadelphia. What was your involvement with Beat the Streets Philly when you were with the PRTC?
So my involvement with Beat the Streets Philly started. So let's taking it back a little bit, just how I ended up at the PRTC. So back in 2016, I was living and training in Ann Arbor, Michigan, and after the 2016 Olympic trials, Brandon Slake approached me with an opportunity to kind of tell me more about what they had going on at the PRTC, and just from everything that he told me about, as far as just like the ecosystem of wrestling here in the Philadelphia area and what they wanted to be able to do, and all the parties that were involved, I felt like number one, it was going to be they were going to provide everything that I needed as far as like resources and training partners and everything like that to be successful. But also, it was going to be an incredible opportunity to be able to serve and be able to look at a picture, that be a part of something that's bigger than myself. And then I also had two friends that Richard Perry and Chase Pammy, that were also going to be a part of this inaugural group that became PRTC members. So it was a huge step, but it was difficult because I was content in living in Ann Arbor, and I had great training partners. I had great coaching. I mean, for training partners, I had Kellen Russell, Jimmy Kennedy, Josh Torella. I had Sean Burnett and Andy Rovat as coaches. So, and I was training at the Barbara Methods Training Center, which is the premier, like one of the premier, and he's a like sports and like neurologist, like expert and like genius. So training wise, it was a really great situation. But to be a part of Beat the Streets, that was the thing that really tipped the scale and really like drove my move to Philadelphia, because I was going to be able to have impact, like I said, on an underserved community that really needs it. So I was excited about it. And then, so as far as my involvement, it started off, and my involvement, it's even started like with where I chose to live. So I wanted to live within the city of Philadelphia, close to the kids that I was going to be impacting, so I could be able to build genuine relationships with those guys. So I lived on 40th and Bering, and then I would ride my bike 4 blocks down to 40th and Brown and coach at Belmont Charter. And I would be able to see kids within the community all the time. And from there, I became a mentor at the mentor center. I would do some like homework help, mentoring. I would lead teams of mentors. And then also I was assigned certain mentees. So we would meet like once a week or whatever have you. And we would just talk about life and just help them through whatever, just have a genuine relationship and just help them through life, whatever I could.
So coming back to Philadelphia is sort of a homecoming for you, given that you lived here for 3 years. Are you excited to be back in the city?
I'm super excited. Absolutely excited. The city of Philadelphia has so much energy, so much history, so much life, and just so much diversity, which is something that I value. It's people from all different races, classes, cultures I'm super excited. And I think I speak for my wife as well when I say that we're definitely excited to move back to Philly, because like people are the greatest treasure on the planet. It's not a building that makes a place special, it's the people. And the hardest part about us leaving Philadelphia in the first place was leaving behind the relationships and the people that we had, with the relationships and the people that we built, and that had really become a part of our family. So Philly is a special city because for me and my wife, because we met there, we got married there, and also I became an NCAA All-American for the first time in the city of Philadelphia. So it's super exciting to be able to come back. But then now, and then also at the time, I had the distinction of being the first PRTC member to be a national team member. And now with the addition of Mark Hall, Joey McKenna, Ethan Lezak, and then with the original members, the OGs of the RTC, Richard Perry and Dan Valmont. And then they just announced a guy by the name of Jordan Burroughs. I don't know, maybe you heard of him, but
I think I read something about him somewhere.
Yeah, he's going to be joining in 2021. So I don't think it's ever been a more exciting time to be a part of the Philadelphia ecosystem. And they're really doing a good job of living out their mission, which is enriching lives both locally and globally. So it's exciting.
Yeah. So again, last time around, you're focused on being an athlete, but obviously you did have your hands in Beat the Streets and were involved in the mentoring and the coaching. But now you are, full-time Beat the Streets. You're going to be the director of the mentoring center. It seems like a really good fit for you, especially given that you have a master's degree in educational policy studies. Can you talk a little bit about that and what your role is going to be?
Yeah, so it's a difference between moments of success and moments of significance. Moments of success, it's all about me. It's about building my name, my brand, like winning this tournament, getting this job title or whatever. But moments of significance, it's all about other people. So it's plenty of successful people that I know that are unfortunately not happy. But I don't know one person that has consistently dedicated their lives to helping other people that are not happy. So for me to be able to step into this role as the director of mentoring at Beat the Streets is something that I'm ultra excited about. Couldn't be more thankful for. And it started as me being a student athlete at the University of Illinois. I'm grateful for the leadership and the coaches there that gave me an opportunity to be able to wrestle there and represent that institution. I was an 86-pound freshman in high school, and then I bulked up to 112 pounds by my senior year, and I got an opportunity to wrestle at the University of Illinois, and 9 months later, I was the starter at 125 at a Big Ten institution. So I got my bachelor's degree in kinesiology, and then I graduated in 4 years. So that left me with one more year to be able to pursue further education. And as I was looking at different programs, I landed on education policy, organization, and leadership. And I really just kind of had a vision of seeing myself, of being in a position where I can lead social change. And so being a part of that EPS program really opened my eyes up to the systemic racism that exists within America, and particularly in the education system. And so racism is more than just individual beliefs and attitudes. Racism is a system of advantage based on race. And so it's not only a person's ideology based on racial prejudice, but it's a system involving cultural messages and institutional policies and practices, as well as actions and beliefs of individuals. So in the context of the United States, it's clear that there's a systematic advantage that white people have that disadvantage people of color. And so to the degree that people experiences those advantages, that definitely varies, but there is an advantage nonetheless. So every social indicator from education, job opportunity, healthcare practices, the mass incarceration, life expectancy reveal those advantages. And so the fact that these disparities exist is not by mistake. And these disparities are perpetuated when we fail to acknowledge their existence. So, for example, systemic racism within the education system. So in the city of Philadelphia, the city removed $500 million from the public school system that impacts 90% of African-American students. They fired 2,500 teachers and closed 37 schools. So, and then less than 2 months later, they increased the prison budget by $1 billion. So basically they're saying like, I'll take away from your education, but I'll fund you getting into prison. And so whenever you take away education, which is an inalienable God-given right, crime increases, and it also increases the pathway and timelines towards prison. So by just studying these things and being able to recognize and acknowledge the persistence of these residential and school segregation and the economic inequality and how that grows from limited access to social, economic, and diverse networks, like I wanted to be one of the people that kind of steps in and kind of stands in the gap for justice. So some people say we talk about race and racism like too much, but I say we don't talk about it enough. Like we need to continually break the silence about race and racism whenever we can. So we need to talk about it in our homes, like in our schools, in our places of worship, in our community groups. And talk doesn't just mean idle chatter, but it means productive dialogue that raises consciousness and then leads to effective action and social change. So given the fact that I come from a similar background of many of the beneficiaries of the Beach Street organization, like I care, and I think it couldn't be a better fit for me to come into this organization as the director of mentoring. And I'm excited to be able to use the skills and experiences that I have to be able to bring a different perspective to the table. So.
Thanks for breaking that down for us, BJ. What do you think you're most excited about potentially for your new role? If you had to just give us, one or two things.
Let me think here.
I know that's a tough one. I know there's going to be a lot, and then you're not going to know exactly what it is until you're actually in it doing it. So
yeah, I mean, like honestly, like it's. So the opportunity came about. So I spent the last year coaching at the U.S. Naval Academy, and at the conclusion of the year, there was a change in leadership. And true to form, when new coaches come in, most of the time they bring their own coaching staff. So immediately, like I was back on the job market, and I wanted to remain in coaching, like instinctively. Like I really enjoyed the year. I want to continue to learn how to build a program, become a better recruiter, fundraiser, all of those things, and grow professionally. But then all of this social unrest started to happen, and it really just sparked a desire in me to want to do something about it. I saw the video of George Floyd, a man that looked like me, like being murdered at the hands of police officers as he kneeled on his neck for 8 minutes. And one of the things that really stood out to me was just the callousness of the officer, how he had no fear in his eyes. And it was almost like he was saying, like, I'm doing this because I know I'm not going to get in trouble for it. And 3 other police officers were there, and they were watching it happen. And so, and then the Ahmaud Arbery case, like he was running in his neighborhood, like going for a jog, exercising, and he was killed by civilians, and nothing happened for 3 months. They didn't get arrested for 3 months, and that's only because a video went viral. And then the Breonna Taylor case, she was in her home, and she was shot 8 times, murdered, and the police left her and her boyfriend there to call the police and call the paramedics, like on their own. And then they charged him for murder after, like, and the person that they were trying to apprehend, like serving this search warrant, was already in custody. I got a call from Clint Martyr, who's on the board, the chairman of the board, and he told me about this opportunity to Beat the Streets. He told me about how I already knew the organization, but he was just telling me how they were kind of remodeling their mission to believe in better. And it's going to be more to come out about this in the near future, but it was something that really, really sparked my interest. I think we can all do something to create change, and it's going to take all of us. And so I started to ask myself, what can I do? Like, where is my sphere of influence, and how can I make a difference? And Clint Marr, presented me with this opportunity, and it was really as he was describing all the responsibilities of the job, like it was really no aspect that I wasn't excited about. He talked about, number one, obviously, like running the Mentor Center and expanding its outreach and its impact. So, like I said, providing a lot of resources, academic resources to help mentors, tutors, and things like that, and getting kids plugged into the Mentor Center. Now, with us being in a pandemic, I'm sure it's going to bring certain challenges to that, but I'm excited about that. I'm excited about grant writing. I'm excited about fundraising. I'm excited about the coaches development piece. So I'm going to be coaching coaches and educating them on cultural competencies. So it's really no aspect of the job that I'm not excited about. And I really have a mindset that, like, everything worthwhile is uphill. And so I have a mindset that I'll always be climbing, and I'm excited about it.
So Beat the Streets largely serves underserved communities and communities of color. Mm-hmm. How important and how beneficial do you think it is that, the new mentoring director is going to be a person of color and, founding member of the Black Wrestlers Association? What kind of impact do you think is it going to have on the constituents of Beat the Streets Philadelphia?
I think it's going to have a huge impact. I think representation is so important, and having somebody that looks like them, that knows them, and that has a genuine relationship with them. Like, I'm excited to reconnect with the kids that I spent 3 years building relationships with. Some of them have gone on and done some great things and been successful and getting accepted into colleges. But even as they come back from colleges, I'm excited to be able to see those kids be able to come back through the Mentor Center, and then to get their input on how we can help make this organization even better, and how they can identify things that we did well, things that, like I said, that we can do better. So I think it's huge. I think the opportunity to be able to just have impact in a role like this in an underserved community like Philadelphia, I think it's huge for wrestling, but I also think it's huge for us as a country.
Yeah. So I know you're going to have a lot to kind of wrap your hands around when you start off in the mentoring position, but obviously coaching is near and dear to your heart. You enjoyed your time at Navy. Can you see yourself doing more coaching in the future and potentially in a Beat the Streets capacity? Do you know if you're going to have the ability to do both?
Yeah, so it was really an incredible year coaching at the Naval Academy. I'll say that the U.S. Naval Academy is the premier leadership academy in the country. And it's because there's a mandate on character. These are men that are dedicated, disciplined, regimented, live regimented lifestyles, and they are committed to the mental, moral, and physical mission. So the opportunity to be able to coach there as my first assistant coach, full-time assistant coaching position, it was remarkable, and I am ultra thankful for Joel Sherritt and him giving me the opportunity to be able to lead this group of young men. And we had a really great year. We won the All Academies. We had 3 EIAA finalists, 2 champs, and Cody Tribus and Tanner Schedule. We had 5 NCAA All-Americans, and then we had 5 NCAA national qualifiers, and then 2 COVID All-Americans. So it was really a great opportunity. And will I miss coaching? Yes, absolutely. But at the same time, I still kind of feel like I'm coaching in a way. I'm just coaching kind of in a different arena. I was a first generation college student, and looking at the statistics, only 1 out of every 9 first generation college bound students actually make it to graduation. So, and another fun fact is that wrestlers across all NCAA divisions have the second largest percentage of first generation college bound students. So when you look at the school system and you see the inadequacies and just how a lot of public school systems need help. In the state of California, the ratio between counselors and students is 945 to 1. And I imagine the Philly school system can't be any different. So for an academic counselor to even have the opportunity to meet with the student is, I mean, that's the goal, just to meet one time throughout the year. So these kids need support. They need support in being able to fill out college applications. They need support in being able to apply for loans and grants. They need support in just dealing with family issues and overcoming adversity. 75% of the students K through 12 within Philadelphia experience homelessness at some point. So like college readiness for many kids, when you talk about college readiness, for many kids, it's and getting ready for college, for many kids, it's moving. Going to college is like changing social classes. Like some kids have never had a computer in their home. Some kids have never been on the plane. So I'm excited to be able to help break the barrier of college access and college retention for those students, and just kind of support them in any way that I can. And I'm excited to just plug into the Philadelphia ecosystem and help in whatever way I can. So I'm excited about it. Yeah, it's really an incredible opportunity, and there's really so much just untapped brilliance within the inner city and within Philadelphia that they just need an opportunity and somebody that cares. So I'm excited to be able to stand in the gap and help.
Awesome. Well, BJ, I'm really excited to see some of the great work that you're going to do for Beat the Streets. I'm excited to see Beat the Streets continue to grow. I wish you nothing but the best.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on.
This has been another edition of Moments Off the Mat. Thank you very much.